research engineer at Talos on Cisco. And as a warning, I am an expert in none of what you're about to hear. So how many people, by show of hands, searched these hashtags before now? Now, you will be in for a fun ride, let me tell you. So, in my research, I find all the time a malicious domain. And like many of you, I'm curious, say, okay, who owns this domain and how many other domains do they have? So in doing my research, you look up, domain tools, you plug in their email address, and you find out that they have over 3,000 other domains. Some of which may be malicious, some of which may not be, but how do you know? So you could sit there and visit each and every one, or you could be lazy like I am. I'm very lazy, and everybody who knows me will say otherwise. So what I'll do is I'll download a CSV of all their links. I'll use some Python and Selenium, or maybe some other tool like WebShot, and I'll visit every single one of these websites. And I have a nice little slideshow I can go through, and judging by the content, I can tell if it's a phishing or if their web page got hacked, and that's why they have a malicious domain. And here are some of your expected results. So I'll go through 3,000 domains. I'll find many tech support scams. I'll find many defaced pages, many, you name it, whether it's iCloud. I found a Starbucks phishing site the other day. I found a Home Depot phishing site the other day. You name the brand name, I have found a phishing site for it. And of course, here's some unexpected results, which often get tweeted with the hashtag things look found. Now, what's interesting is every day you visit this site and you get a nice wang of the day, and you get the guy's name, and it tells you what he does for a living, where he works, some things he likes, some things he dislikes. Now, I personally think the likes and dislikes are made up. I don't know. And then here's some other things that you might find. I would love to know what an asparagus lipo is. Like, is it like acupuncture, but they stab you with asparagus? Do you have to eat so much that I just don't know. And the cat picture is just awesome. You've got to share that thing. So after finding some of these things, and more because I'm kind of intrigued by the randomness that's out there, I decided to go crazy on a Saturday afternoon. No reason. Just thought, let's see what I can find. So here's my original sketch. It's kind of blurry, but I'll talk you through it. So what my plan is to take domains that were created the day before. Not just one TLD, but every TLD I can get access to, either through zone files or domainpunch.com, and pipe them into an SQS queue. And then have a bunch of AWS nodes go out in parallel and multi-process and visit all of these sites. And as many of you may know, there's 2 million or so sites generated daily. So then, here's where part of the magic happens. Once I have all these thumbnails of all these pictures, how do I find the malicious items? Like, how can you tell that one image is bad, a phishing site? So, you do some magic. I'll describe the magic here. I just wanted an excuse to use the little woman there, that her name escapes me at the moment. Trust me, you stand up here in front of all you, see if you forget anything. So then you've got all these images, you've kind of sorted through them, and then the fun stops. Because then you have to manually look through 84,000 images in a folder. And then you take those, and what do you do with those? You could email. What I do with them is I then send out 300 to 3,000 emails a day to whoever owns the IP addresses and say, hey, your website's defaced. You know, what are you going to do about it? Or, hey, this is a phishing site. You know, let's take this down because I'm sure you don't want to be hosting this phishing site. And many people are pretty responsive. I won't name names. I would like to, maybe privately on Twitter, of those who aren't. So here's the magic. What I've tried to do when I first started this is I used NumPy. I converted each image to a NumPy array and then compared the percentage of how similar the arrays were to each other. And it worked really well of figuring out whether one image was the same as another image. The problem with that is once you get above 3,000 images, the disk I/O of opening and closing every image, just to compare your 3,000 images to one image to see if you find a match, takes forever. So what I've found are image hashes. Has anybody ever heard of image hashing before? Okay, that's definitely way more than I have ever heard about them. So the way they work for the rest of the people is it takes two similar images and it will convert them to black and white. It'll shrink them down to a node size, and then it will calculate a hash based on the pictures. So the two cats on the bottom will actually have the very same hash. So you could feed them through and go, even though the images are slightly different, I can tell that they're the same. And this was really weird for me because I tried 12 different things. I wish I had an hour to tell you everything I tried that failed, because that'd be a much more interesting story. So here's some more random things I found. Whack-a-clown. If you know anybody that's afraid of clowns and want the actual URL for this to buy little childlike clowns to scare the crap out of them, let me know. Maybe we can get a group rate going. Now, Bitches with Giraffes was extremely funny because I played a game with this. And before I showed it to anybody, I asked them to tell me if it was porn or not. You have no idea how much fun that was. I mean, I'm still doing that. I guess I'll have to stop after this, after everybody sees this. And the guy on the far right, I have no clue why. Like, why would you do that? It's some guy with a steak in his mouth, like a dog. Like, yeah, but I understand that, but you want to take a picture of you eating a steak on its own webpage? Why is that needed? But anyway, so I originally titled this slide Fooling Management, but because how do you convince your boss that finding all these fun things and sharing with them is actually being productive? And I tend to like my job very much, so I had to come up with some numbers. So this is from last month that I blew through 245 million domains. So I was taking all the newly created domains, and then I had a wild idea of, let's pipe in the .com and .net and .zone files into this thing. and then realized how much of a bad idea it was, because I got returned 84 million images that I had to try and go through. And what that is I've removed all the landing pages. I check for that. I do a NumPy check on the image and make sure it's not one solid color. And then everything else I send to a Amazon bucket to wait for me to download, which in and of itself is a whole nother problem. I have hit so many walls doing this. I found out that SQS had a 12-hour limit. So if you pipe 50 million items into an SQS queue and you're not working fast enough to process those, they just start dropping off the back end. So you may think, hey, I'm flying through these pretty quick. Yeah, you're not. Trust me. So, and out of those, I've found over 2,000 malicious sites, many of which were just created days, if not a week before, where somebody set up a phishing site and just haven't advertised it yet. It's just sitting there, hey, give me your PayPal credentials, and I'm going to use this somewhere. Many were defaced pages. So, and I have a theory. I have not been able to prove this, but there are some defacers out there, and I hope they don't come after me for saying this. I think they are buying domains and defacing them and saying, look, I just defaced this webpage. So that's my theory. If anybody wants to help me prove that theory, it would make for an awesome talk at DEF CON or something crazy. So tech support scams are kind of dear to me. I had a friend whose father fell for a fake tech support, hey, your computer has a virus, go here. And luckily he was smart enough that when the guy started asking for money, he started questioning. He was like, I want a second opinion and all this other stuff. And his computer just randomly started going crazy while he watched it. But not only than having a best friend's father fall for this, I had a fake IRS call recently that scared the crap out of my wife. So, and the way that works doesn't really have much to do with this talk, but I'm going to tell you anyway. The way that works is they call and leave a message on your answer machine. They tell you that they are for so-and-so IRS law enforcement, and there's a lawsuit against you, and please call this number. And it's a robot dial number. And we owed $500 to the IRS. So to my wife, it's like, oh, well, this could be a legit thing. We forgot to pay off this last little bit of whatever it was. I don't pay attention to the bills. And exactly. That's my wife's job because she's so much better at it than I am. Man, you got to stop distracting me like that. So anyway, she called, and right away they started yelling at her, and it had her in tears. She's like, I don't want to settle in court, but I'm not going to get you a MoneyGram. She knows enough about what I do to go, what's your number? Let me call you back. Let me verify who you are before you pay for this. Going to talk to my husband. And right away, they were very rude and disrespectful. We're going to call your local authorities. Don't go anywhere. They'll be there within an hour. So when I started doing this and started finding them, I started calling these numbers. And I'd get in my car and I'd pretend to drive to Walmart. And then I'd pretend to send a MoneyGram, and just to waste their time. And then I started finding these things everywhere. Like every day there's 20 new ones that pop up. And luckily through Twitter I found a contact of, hey, this is how you can look up who owns that number. So I've made it my mission for these 13,000, whatever number, eventually it'll hit 1,000, these people, I've been taking their numbers away from them. I've actually got a very nice mosaic image of a company logo made purely over thousands of. I feel like I'm taking drugs off the street. And 25 binaries that nobody's seen before. The number sounds kind of small, but when you see the average, oh, this is a DOS binary. Oh, this is just a brute force binary. When you find stuff that's new that you've never seen before, I get excited about it. Often I mess it up and have to hand it off to somebody else, but I still get excited about it. So the moral of the story is that very small ideas can quickly get out of hand. This started as a 5-minute solve a problem, and I've been doing this for the last 6 months. And it would start out as, oh, well, what if I match these images this way? Next weekend, oh, I've got way too many images. What if I match these images this way? It's gotten to the point where I'm sitting watching TV in the evening, and I'm just tabbing, hitting the down button, next, just looking through images, trying to find bad guys and happen along fun things. And my wife comes to me, God, I hope she doesn't watch this, and she looks at me with my feet up on the coffee table, asking me, can you be any more lazy of doing your job? Like, I understand what you're doing, but you are just seem so lazy at it. And I thought for a minute, and I looked at her, and I was like, you know what? I can. So, I think I'm running really early, so that's why I'm sharing the story. I go down, I know many of you can't see this if you want to come up and see it afterwards. I've got this little Tinsy up here, and I've actually been using it to flip through my slides. It's got up, down, left, right. There's a nice little delete button. And there's this auto button right here. So whichever direction I press last, I can press down, hit the auto button, and then not press another thing until I want to stop the slideshow. I'm currently working on a button that I can press that'll send images to Twitter with the hashtag ThingsWickFound, but I haven't gotten there yet. Oh, I'm sending you some special stuff. Yeah. For example, the slide on the left. Now, I ran these slides past my boss because, I don't want to get the company I work for in trouble. And they let me do, what happened now? I know, I feel like I'm doing a live demo. I did not delete my slides. That has happened to me before. Okay, we back? Okay. So, I ran these past my boss because I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to get fired for some of these images. Bitches with giraffes could be pushing it. I don't know how many kids are in here. So I edited this photo, and I wish I could show it to you, but it apparently wasn't edited enough. I had black bars in places. I was not allowed to show it. So I'm going to show you a bicycle with square wheels, and I'm going to implore you to visit. I'm going to double dog dare you to visit this site and see what was so bad that my boss, after okaying bitches with giraffes and whack-a-clown, said, no, you might be pushing the line a little bit with this one. So just to make sure I covered everything, Picasso doesn't like to open 90,000 images. It will not. That's also another reason why I invented this. It's just not going to scan it. You can try it. Good luck to you. And no matter how long, you have no idea how many stupid mistakes I did doing this. Like, for one, from the start, I should be teaming up with somebody who knows machine learning to match all these images and not looking at them manually. But it's so much fun. It's like an addiction. I don't look at porn anymore. I'm like, a porn is not enough for me. I want to see this weird stuff that nobody stumbles upon. There we go. There you go. What's that? I cannot confirm or deny that it's porn. Did you just go to it? Come on, do it. Do it. I want... Come up here and do it. I want everybody to see your face and hear your response. You know? You're not brave? Come on. Everybody's going to be nagging on this guy the rest of the con. Huh? I'll give you 20 cents because... There you go. This gentleman, John, he'll give you $1. Do I have time, guys, for him to come up and do this? No? You guys, that would have been awesome. So I wish I could tell you how many mistakes I made along the way. And maybe if this project gets bigger, I'll do a longer talk on the subject. And just again, you guys want to go see this. You've got to. Because I won't be here for you to nag the rest of the con. It's going to be great because you'll be looking for me. So here's my contact information. If you want to reach out, if you just want to say, I saw your talk, please don't ever do that again. But man, I so wish I could show you the stuff. So, just some of the stuff I've seen. But thank you, guys. I'll be around if you have any questions. I want to give the next guy enough time to get set up. Thank you.